Tub of body latex, $22. Tub of gold pigment, $6. Watching your friend get naked, covered with gold paint, and jogging until he passes out, priceless.
Coming up, flying a lawn chair balloon.
Okay, last check before we let you go, Adam. All right.
Can you fail a drug test after eating a bagel?
I think this is going to cure me of my love for Poppy Seed Cake once and for all.
Gold paint. Is it really a glamorous way to die?
The ridicule happens.
Here on Mythbusters, we're not just going to retell the legends, we're going to put them to the test.
We're prepared to put our bodies on the line.
Why should you trust these guys? Well, Jamie and Adam have over 30 years in model building, animatronics, and toy prototyping. They can build just about anything, and probably have.
This is M5, my special effects shop. Come on in and have a look around.
If we can't find what we need here, there's always Adam's junk collection.
My cigarette dispenser.
The guys are backed by experts in folklore, crime, medicine, and engineering. And they'll need every trick in the book.
So where do we begin? What do we got? Let's go. So the lawn chair balloon, this is the thing that made it on the internet all over the place a few years ago of the guy who supposedly flew above LAX in 1992.
Larry Walters attached something like 45 weather balloons to this lawn chair.
He took up beer and beef jerky, and he was an unemployed truck driver.
And woo, he shot straight up into the air and apparently went up to about 16,000 feet.
And he flew for something like 14 hours.
Larry's only way of descending was with a handheld BB gun.
We're actually just going to see if we can achieve some buoyancy with 42 helium balloons. I don't think we're going to bring all the payload that he did. He brought the beer, the sandwiches. We are going to bring a pellet gun.
The plan is to build and fly the balloon as it's described in the myth. The guys then have to show that they can make a controlled descent by shooting out the balloons.
Is this something that would be legal for us to do?
The myth says Larry was fined after the flight, so we want to get permission before we take to the skies.
Whose jurisdiction does that fall under? Fire department's going to know faster than the police department will. Well, I don't think this is the FAA, but on the off chance it is, and you have to do with the FAA rules and regulations, please call me.
How high do you want this guy to go up the building?
Not very high. We just have to prove the point. He was transferring me to his duty officer upstairs, who apparently was not on duty, and so they'll call us back.
You know, it's the sort of thing where it's like you could call to your blue in the face and no one would know who you should talk to. And then if you did it and there was a traffic snarl up and people got pissed off, it would still take them like 3 weeks to figure out who should punish you. Unfortunately, Sears wouldn't let us shoot inside their building. And they seem to have discontinued Larry's original chair. But we found this. It's aluminum construction. Seems pretty sturdy. And in fact, it looks fairly comfortable. Oh. Yeah. I can definitely fly in this. We're going to do these in basically 4 clusters. Like Larry Walters did, they'll probably be closer. 4 separate clusters. Each cluster will be tethered to me on a different line, tie point. 2 shoulders, 2 on the waist. So that even if one whole cluster goes, I fall to the ground. I'm going to weigh about 15 pounds at that point. Let's get the chair over here, and I'll sit it, and then we'll try and bungee it to me. All right, you want to try and raise me up and see how this does? That's pretty uncomfortable.
Well, what do the pictures show?
Adam's harness is too uncomfortable.
I'd get up if I could.
The chair is too dangerous. That means we're going to have to find some other way of making this work.
I have a suggestion, Adam.
Bring it on.
We can take our square steel tubing that we use a lot around here and make a nice picture frame board or square. You know, weld it thoroughly to where you're not gonna, you could jump up and down on it. You're not gonna collapse it. And then just anchor to it. We can put 4 eye bolts into it.
4 eye bolts on it. Yeah, I like that idea. That seems pretty darn good.
And then we'll actually lash that to the chair.
So the harnesses aren't supporting me; they're just safety harnesses.
Yeah.
All right. Someone want to lift the? Oh God, much better than the harness. The harness was very uncomfortable. I'm about to order the balloons from Science and Surplus.
Okay.
So, we need 42. Obviously, we want some backups, just in case they're not all fantastic coming out of the package. Real kosher weather balloons are $40 a piece. Like brand new ones. And that's, $10 was the only price I found that was lower than 40.
The myth says that Larry got his balloons from an Army surplus store. That makes them cheaper. But there's a trade-off. The latex has a limited shelf life.
All depends what kind of balloon. Some balloon has a shelf life 1 year, some has 2 years, some could be 5-6 years.
Adam is taking a
really
big
light
risk.
balloon.
His balloons
it's
are
so
20
thin.
years old.
It's a lot thinner than I thought it was going to be.
Can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to get a price quote on some helium.
Okay.
Like 42.
Yeah, 42 of those?
Yeah.
To raise?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Okay, well, I can get you...
Well, no,
I can get you a helium that is like a 291 cubic feet.
Right,
So
the
that's-
T-size cylinder.
That's the T size.
Yeah.
And that would raise 2 of them.
Good Lord.
I know. And you're going to order how many?
Probably 5 tanks.
5 tanks?
5 tanks? Didn't she just say 1 tank fills 2 weather balloons?
My calculations on the volume of helium for each balloon is based on just the volume of the sphere, which is like 33 cubic feet. But because the helium's under pressure, and it's not much, it's like, I think 3 atmospheres or 5 atmospheres or something like that. Under pressure in the balloon, it's likely we're going to need more.
We've got enough balloons, and because
We've got enough balloons.
because they're
we're
6
just going to
foot
need more
long.
gas. We might end up needing almost double this amount of gas.
This is $700 worth of gas.
We might need another $700 to $1,000 worth of gas.
Actually, we'll need 4 times Adam's original helium estimate.
We now have enough helium to get me aloft, correct?
Yeah.
Jamie's done a lot of this. There we go. All right.
So, in theory, Adam can now get off the ground. The next question is, can he come safely back down?
It looks like a big onion. Did it hit?
Yes, it did hit, and it went clean through.
It went right through?
Yeah. Yeah, it went clear through. Check this out.
So it actually did.
There's the hole on the other side. But it is a very slow leak, obviously.
The BB descent technique doesn't seem to be very effective.
The thing.
I'll bet you we could shoot this for like another half hour. All of us just taking as many shots as we want, and we really wouldn't make much of a dent.
Probably. This stuff is, it's pretty, oh. Look at that. It's just falling apart.
That doesn't inspire confidence on the eve of Adam's historic flight. Will our choice of cheap surplus balloons come back to haunt us?
So are you having some second thoughts about this thing, Adam? Are you sure you want to do the do?
I'm just thinking through it. And the balloons are a lot thinner than I thought.
I think it's fine. Of course, it's your neck. It's not mine.
Yeah.
So 5 a.m. tomorrow, you're going flying.
Yeah.
We're trying to recreate the mythical flight
Am I good?
of Larry Walters, the lawn chair balloonist.
Okay.
I don't know how he did it all by himself. We've got about 15 people here helping out. And I mean, granted, we're going probably a lot faster than he went, but I'm amazed that he did this alone.
Larry had a lot of help. Larry's main support was his girlfriend, Carol. Carol not only spent her life savings and maxed out their credit cards, but she also helped inflate the balloons.
Mark Barry claims to know the truth behind the Larry Walters story.
So where we're standing right now is San Pedro, California. This is where Larry launched from on July 2nd, 1982.
I'm very excited about this. Oh, we're starting to lift. Can we get some more sandbags?
And that's not the only problem. We're starting to
move.
pay for those 20-year-old balloons.
Well, we've lost 3 balloons so far. It's plausible that they were balloons with flaws in them, or that it's pressure against the ropes or some of the other balloons.
The pressure's on to get a flight in before any more blow.
I'd get in your clothes. We want to get you up there because we're going to run out of helium pretty soon. I think we've used up all the helium in the Bay Area, so we kind of need to make this work. First, the way it'll go is that we'll help hold we'll unload the chair, and everybody will help hold it down while Adam gets in, and then we'll all move to, or the 6 of us will move to the tethers. Very gentle. Okay. All right, he should be holding the chair down okay now.
That's good.
Okay, now let's see, let's just let him go as he's starting to go. Okay, so you can steady him, Alberto. Okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and lift him up a little bit. Let's let him up off the ground.
Okay, this is it. The moment of truth.
Okay, upsy daisy. We don't need very much. Go ahead.
There was so much pressure, so much force, so much power in those balloons that he shot up at 1,000 feet per minute.
Okay, now control it. All right, we're good.
We're good. Yeah!
Okay, last check before we let you go, Adam.
All right.
It's been nice knowing you.
I love you all.
Thanks for all your help on the job. Okay, upsy daisy.
Then I found out there was an audio file of the actual flight.
So make sure
everybody that needs to cut it and get down now. Cut your balloons and come down now. Everyone wants you down now.
After we had this evidence, quote unquote, then all of a sudden the skeptics became believers.
Cheers.
Pretty soon it's going to come time to start shooting those balloons out.
I take the one out that's right near you, just graze the edge of it. Graze it, try and cut it. Good job. Yeah!
There we go! Oh!
According to the myth, Larry was rescued by a helicopter, but in reality, he really wasn't. He crash landed right here. Larry ended up blacking out part of Long Beach, specifically this neighborhood, because when he hit the power lines, the only way to get him down was to cut the power.
Whoa! All right, crew, on over we go. Oh. All right. All right, we need sandbags over here.
Oh, that was great. It went 100% successful, I'd say. Got up to about 75 feet. Got a really great view. The shooting of the balloons worked out really great. Hey,
good job.
Give me a hug. That was excellent.
Let's have a hand. Definitely, Larry could have done it. It's a lot of work. Here at 5 a.m. Logistically, it's with around 40, in excess of 40 weather balloons, it takes a long time to fill them up, and it's a lot of tanks of stuff to get a hold of. You can't just sort of do this. I think I'll go out and get a couple of tanks of helium and see what happens. It's a lot of tanks of helium.
The Federal Airport Administration did not wish to be interviewed for Mythbusters. They did, however, send a fax confirming many of the key details of Larry's story, including his $1,500 fine.
I would only do it again if it was sanctioned by the FAA and if it had FAA approval. So it doesn't look like I'd be doing it again.
When we first heard about this gag, remember I told you, like if there was one person anywhere of any time in the Earth's history that I would like to meet, it'd be this guy. I think this is inspired. I'd like to just shake his hand. So what do we have here?
We have the poppy seed drug test.
That's usually not even told in story form, just as like an unsubstantiated rumor.
The myth is that eating a couple of poppy seed bagels or poppy seed cake in the morning could cause you to test positive for opiate use on a drug screen.
If I go out and look, I'll see as many people asserting that you can't test positive with poppy seeds as many saying you can. So it's an alive question.
So what do you think we're going to need for this test?
Well, we've got the bagels, and we've got some poppy seed bread, it says, and we need containers for urine, and the drug test kits. That's about it.
We are afraid of random drug testing. I myself find the whole concept to be abhorrent, yet I want my pilot and my bus driver to be clean. I want them to be random drug tested.
So we're going to eat some poppy seeds. You're going to eat some bagels. I'm going to eat some cake.
I understand we can't eat anything else until we're done with this.
I think we need to drink lots of water because we have to cough up a half a dozen urine samples today.
Yeah.
Keep testing about every hour, every 2 hours, then maybe at 4 hours, 8 hours, and then tomorrow morning, and see what the tests register. Perhaps one of us should eat a very little, and one of us should eat a lot.
We're both about the same body weight.
We're both about the same body weight, about 185, 180, somewhere in there.
We bought kits over the web, a bargain at just $16.95 for 10.
So I think we ought to do a sample as a control before we start.
Adam!
Come on, hurry up in there!
Yeah.
This test sample will ensure it's poppy seeds.
Yeah, I hope I don't get pea shy.
And poppy seeds alone that is responsible for a positive result. There's no tampering with the evidence on Mythbusters.
You take 3 drops and put it on the end of the test. This one for you, one for me. Oh, it comes with an eyedropper.
How clever.
So if it's negative, 2 lines appear. 1 red line in the control region, another apparent red or pink line should be in the test region. Positive, 1 red line appears in the control region and no line in the test region.
So you put 3 drops.
Okay, so that's testing showing negative.
The screening urine tests are an aminoassay test. What that means is they have antibodies directed towards the compound that it's looking for. They look for the codeine and morphine in the urine with this. So those are exactly the same thing that is tested for in heroin. Because heroin is broken down to those 2 substances.
So we're both negative.
Yes. Yeah, I haven't used drugs for weeks, so.
Now for the tough questions.
Cake is heads, bagels or tails.
But who's who? Look, you call in the air and you get to choose.
Okay. Heads.
Cake!
All right.
It's one of my favorite things in the world. Love poppy seed cake.
The poppy seeds definitely have morphine and codeine in them, so they are the heroin poppy seeds. But they are very low concentrations, so you don't get the physical and mental effects from them.
One of the articles had said that somebody who had eaten like 23 grams of poppy seeds had started acting silly and goofy, and I'm not sure where you could determine that would begin with me. I think this is going to cure me of my love for poppy seed cake once and for all. Go off down to the last bite. Here we go. There it is. Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Boy, the cake looked like it was pretty good. It's a lot better than a bagel.
I'm thinking twice now. The 2,600 calories.
Oh, man.
Polish it off there, big guy. Oh, yeah. You animal. You are an animal. You first.
It's now half an hour since we started eating poppy seeds. Time for our second test.
I gotta go. This may be a positive right here.
Kind of looks that way. That's amazing.
That's impressively fast. I've just tested positive for opiates.
Whoops. No one expected that.
Now we'll see how long it lasts. I feel like a little goofy. Wow, I'm impressed that it's metabolized that fast. I wouldn't have called that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I think I'm going to take a nap. I'm exhausted.
You're busted.
Yeah.
You're done.
No.
One of our employees has just tested positive. Now what should we do?
I'm wondering if your opiate instant instant test for opiates is sensitive enough that it might yield a false positive.
Wow. My understanding is they won't show a false positive.
I've called about 5 of these folks, and you're the first one to even who's ever pretended to have heard of a false positive from poppy seeds.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, a false positive is when the drug test comes back positive for an illicit drug when that illicit drug was not taken.
The test can detect between 300 and 1,200 nanograms, or billionths of a gram of codeine.
Okay.
At that level, there's no way to distinguish between poppy seeds and heroin use.
I mean, that's like the smoking gun we've been looking for. You know, it's believe it, we have to go to Europe for it. Oh, there's a new bill in Congress to suppress all studies regarding the fallibility of American products.
One study showed that some of them were actually at a 50% false positive rate, meaning that you're better off just flipping a coin rather than even doing a test.
The indignity continues.
I think I've just succeeded. No. Oh, looks that way to me. Yep.
Looks like you might have tested positive. Welcome to the club there, brother. Yeah.
Dude.
Now we've got 2 employees testing positive. Maybe we should double check our findings.
Do you guys provide a service whereby if we get a positive, we can send it to you to confirm that it's a positive and not a false positive? You don't.
We sell the products, but we don't get into that aspect of it.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, well, the pre-employment tests, they should, if they are doing things right, should do the screening test first and then go on to the more accurate gas chromatograph mass spectrometer, which it also has its problems, but it is more accurate.
It's now 4 hours since bagel consumption, and there is still no tampering with the evidence.
Ah, you're still positive.
I'm still positive. Still positive after all these hours.
So is it going to be a girl or a boy, do you think?
I ate a hell of a lot, but you only ate 3 bagels. That's not, unheard of. And you're still testing positive 4 hours later. I'm pretty surprised.
I probably wouldn't have believed it myself if I actually hadn't been the newspaper reporter there writing a story about it.
In 1997, Larry covered the case of a Florida woman who sued after her employer withdrew a lucrative job offer.
She ate 2 poppy seed bagels in her car on the way to St. Petersburg the morning of the interview. And that apparently was enough, quickly enough, to make her turn up a positive result on one of these tests.
Here on Mythbusters, nothing gets in the way of science. It's now 8 hours since bagel consumption.
Tonight we have a special dip. It is the finest sauce in all of France. Okay.
And we're both clearly positive for opiates. Frankly, I'm amazed. It's such a little thing. It's a very effective test.
Let's throw out this toxic waste.
The studies show up to 72 hours testing positive after ingestion of a poppy seed bagel. We probably average getting 10 calls a day of people who have been devastated, have lost their jobs due to false positive tests. And that is the calls that we get. I mean, there's tens of thousands of people that just every year lose their jobs and actually don't even know because they're not even told they tested positive in the pre-employment test.
Ready to get started this morning?
It's now 18 hours since bagel ingestion.
Do you think you're going to be positive? Do you think you'll still test positive?
I think I'm going to test positive. I don't have anything to base that on. It just seemed awfully consistent,
Right.
Yeah, it's a little faint. I would interpret that as there's a trace, because the other one is stronger.
I think on the literature, if I'm correct, it actually states that if there's even a hint of a line, it's a negative.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have any way of knowing of what that threshold is.
Yeah.
So, what's the verdict? Do you think it's a myth or is it true?
Oh, it's clearly true. You know, we ate a normal amount of poppy seed bagels and poppy seed products, and they showed positive on the test for a fairly long period of time.
I think it's thought of as a legend because it has been downplayed by the drug testing industry.
You see a poppy seed bagel sitting on your counter and you think there's breakfast. You don't think there's something that could cause me to lose a job, get in trouble, get arrested. That's just not what you think when you're looking at your first meal of the morning.
Goldfinger. You may not know, or you may remember that in 1964, the movie Goldfinger.
Shirley Eaton was an actress who played the role of a secretary
for the evil orc Goldfinger.
After, I think, betraying her boss, she apparently was murdered by having her skin painted with gold.
The story goes that if you paint your whole body with gold paint, your skin will not be able to breathe. The solution to this, supposedly, is to leave a small patch at the base of your spine.
To test this, Jamie is going to run on a treadmill for 10 minutes as we measure his vital signs. Then we'll paint him up, and he'll run again, and we'll see if there's a change.
Do you have ideas about what we should cover you in? I mean, I wouldn't do it with, like, oil-based or enamel paint or something like that.
Obviously, I'm not going to grab a spray can of gold paint and just go for it. Though. Yeah, it'd be fun, but it probably wouldn't be flexible enough anyway. So if you're looking for a flexible paint, that would be latex, and the gold we can essentially make a gold paint. I believe that's what they do for. Sometimes people do this to go out and party, and they strip down and paint their clothing on.
We've got these for you, and I think you'll probably want to wear these even after the show because they're so fabulous.
Oh my God! You actually think you're going to see me get in these, do you?
I don't think. I'm quite convinced of it. There's no way you're going to be painted with gold paint and slap on a pair of tidy whities and get on that treadmill. You look ridiculous. This way, the ridicule happens completely and naturally.
Well, thank you.
I think the concept that painting the skin with a substance and causing death is probably related to other chemicals that may have been included in the past in certain substances that were put on the skin.
In Elizabethan times, lead was an essential ingredient in makeup. Wearers died from lead poisoning, but it was slow and painful. We're going to do a test patch on Jamie to ensure the gold powder doesn't cause any complications.
Oh, yeah. So this is the color we're looking to match there, Gold Boy. We want to make sure that you're shiny.
Well, we can do that, and it takes at least 3 coats. So we'll get successively more dense with the pigment as we go up.
From what we've been told, the real danger here is from heat exhaustion.
Apparently, at celebrations like Carnival, where people paint their whole bodies with paint, there's a lot of people passing out.
Yeah.
So we should monitor your temperature.
Absolutely.
While you're painted.
Yeah, that'd be the only thing I would worry about with this. And I don't believe for a second the little small patch at the base of the spine. That sounds like nonsense.
Even the small danger that you'll overheat on a cool morning like this, I think it's important that we have an EMT's team standing by.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know there's only two ways to monitor your core body temperature. Through your ear and a rectal thermometer.
I'm just going to have you take some breaths. Big breath with your mouth.
Do you have a preference?
Yes, I would prefer the ear.
Your blood pressure.
Especially if I'm running on a treadmill.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
134 over 90. 88. That's fine.
Getting you used to it.
Don't push so hard.
Jamie's vitals are normal, and there are no ill effects from the test patch.
Oh, that's going to be cool. You'll end up with a Jamie suit.
Right, smoke of fire.
5, 4, 3, 2, go.
First, for some kind of some basis to test off of, I should work out for, for about half of what my normal workout would be. And so let's just say that I'll do 10 minutes without the gold paint.
Okay, so heart rate 136. His temperature.
And we'll measure body temperature and
body temperature, heart rate,
everything, everything that we can measure that's important, and then we'll have that to compare with. You're not going to be able to. You want me to stop for that or what?
Here, you put it in your ear. Put it in your ear and push that button. All right, cool. 96.8.
When we get overheated, the way the body responds to heat is by losing sweat and also by losing heat through our blood vessels.
We're right at the halfway mark.
Jamie's blood oxygen is 80%.
That's 1 mile.
And his body temperature is 97.8 degrees. All perfectly normal.
Yeah, we're right at 10 minutes here too.
Okay, we shut it off?
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Do you think there'll be any problems with getting painted with gold paint?
No, not at all. If I get thoroughly sealed up, it's no doubt going to keep me from perspiring, which means that I'm not going to be able to be physically active as long.
No. Go put those on first, and then we'll just paint it.
I'm not going to put those on until the last minute.
But you got to put them on over the gold paint? Come on. Listen, you're already naked and running on a treadmill painted with gold paint. There's no such thing as shame or embarrassment here. Go put on the gold shorts. Come on back. I'll paint this on. I got you some detail brushes for, like, the insides of your ears and stuff. Yeah. The human fresco.
Go at 'em.
I'm having so much fun. So, Jamie, I am actually painting right over the small of your back in flagrant disregard of the gold finger myth. I hope you'll be all right.
As a dermatologist, I would highly recommend that this is not done by any of you who are listening to this program. And you could develop heat stroke, which is a very severe illness and can lead to death.
Oh, yeah.
These things are they squeak when I walk.
Okay, look at this. You starting to feel guilty?
Are you feeling any heat sensations or dizziness or anything like that?
Right now, the only thing I feel actually kind of cold and like shivers, which is not a sign of heat stroke, I don't believe, but I do feel something kind of course, feels weird. I guess that's all it is. It feels strange to move because it pulls. Otherwise, it just feels cold.
All right. So, careful about moving.
Time for a checkup. Okay, so Jamie's blood oxygen saturation is 100%, and he's definitely still breathing. That's another myth busted. Or is it?
The amount of oxygen that's absorbed through the skin is minimal. The amount of carbon dioxide that we lose through the skin is also insignificant. So in terms of respiration through the skin, this is really not an important factor.
Let's try it on the other arm. 140 over 110 on that arm.
So that means my blood pressure is elevated?
Yeah. Let's try it like we did before.
This wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah. Afraid not. 140, 110.
140, 110.
Jamie seems to be suffering bizarre blood pressure fluctuations.
So what's the problem? What do you guys... Is this something that worries you guys?
Yeah.
Where's the danger zone?
I got a bottom number about 108. It's close enough.
There you go. Yeah, it's really strange, to tell you the truth.
Hello, I'm Shirley Eaton. I expect you might remember me as Jill Masterson in Goldfinger, the James Bond favourite film. Well, as you can see, I'm very much alive.
Shirley survived. So what's wrong with Jamie? His blood pressure has hit worrying heights.
The diastolic blood pressure, that's the lower number, and that's a part of what the heart is doing at on the return. Is that it?
Pressure should be low because when you squeeze, that's the top number. That's the pressure in your veins and your arteries. When your arteries in particular, when you squeeze, the heart squeezes, the blood pumps through. Then the heart relaxes, so that number obviously drops. 140 to 110. That's a lower number, but that's still high. 110 is a high number for relax. It should be 80. 120 over 80 is kind of normal.
That morning wasn't pleasant. I almost felt like I had flu. I suppose becoming hot made me feel, and I suppose a little fear. With everybody saying we must be careful with Shirley, we must be careful with Shirley.
I feel similar to what I guess right before I was coming down with a flu or something. It feels a little strange.
Could there be some truth to the myth after all?
I would have to say it's weird. I feel I'm starting to get really uncomfortable. And but I can't really say why. It's mainly these variations of being chilled in some areas and feeling like almost burning hot in others.
The only way I can explain this is again by the occlusion of the skin causing an increase in body temperature and then the body reacting in a fight or flight mechanism and increasing its blood pressure and heart rate.
Body temperature stuff is really it's not something to play around with. What we are doing here is potentially dangerous. Right. I could die, if I'm not careful with this thing.
You guys probably wouldn't recommend 10 minutes of strenuous medium exercise for someone with a blood pressure.
I think it's kind of dangerous myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. 110 standing up, just I would recommend not.
Hi, General. This is Paramedic 920 wishing to do a consult with you. Is that okay?
We're going to get a second opinion on that.
We're just concerned about the pressure, which we checked several times with no change.
Medic 920, I copy you. Even though physiologically it doesn't make sense to have those changes diastolic, but if it's really just by covering with latex paint, but if really that's the number that you got, then I would agree with you, advise the patient not to do that. Over.
Jamie's symptoms are bizarre.
My life signs are showing questionable numbers, as well as I certainly don't feel normal. I feel like I'm basically about to become ill. I could say it's almost like I'm a little lightheaded, and I feel.
Let's get that off you then.
Okay. Well, there we go.
You want to start rubbing it?
We're going to pull the plug on this one.
The best thing for you to do is probably rub it with your fingers.
The hairs, what hair is left.
If we can get the head first, that would be really good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just plain strange.
Well, that's where
Man, that feels
the heat would be contained the most.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. Am I hurting you?
No, go for it. But it feels like I'm being skinned.
Horrible. Taking the paint off was a nightmare.
It's best to skin your Jamie before you prepare him for the frying pan.
One of the makeup ladies and a wardrobe lady came with me into my dressing room, into the bathroom, and they just scrubbed me down with sponges and soap, and I was all pink and sore.
I think you got something here, though, because we all kind of thought that this was going to be just no big deal.
Yeah, it got nerve-wracking quite fast.
Yes, it did.
Are you starting to feel a little bit better, Jamie?
Feels better.
He was totally beet red before, and now he's a gray color. Before, I think it would have been very bad. It wouldn't have gone well.
Jamie's blood pressure fluctuations are obviously related to the latex. Exactly how remains a mystery.
So how do you feel?
Much better.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been a problem, really. But it definitely felt weird, and we're not, none of us here are doctors, and it's not a controlled experiment. It's seeing the least little sign, like a blood pressure rise, and we don't know what it means for sure, is a good, strong reason to pull the plug.
Okay, just relax your arm.
We're going to give him one last checkup, just to be sure.
40 over 90.
Okay,
that's where we started.
Woohoo! Back to normal, back online, back on duty.
Okay, 100%, that's good. And normal sinus rhythm at 76, that's all good.
It definitely had an effect. There was clear there was something going on there. And so, whether somebody would die, I doubt it.
Glad you're back.
Thanks. All right.
Making the world safer for television.
After Goldfinger, I made 7 more films, and I wondered, who started this myth? Apart from the fact that we know that it's unpleasant to be painted gold, I thought, haven't they seen any of my recent films? I'm still very much alive. The irony of show business is I was in that film 5 minutes, the shortest role I ever did, and it's the one that made me a piece of cinema history.